Hi, Mike. Thanks for joining us.
Yes.
Good for Denise catching the update.
Well done, Mike. Yes.
Hi, Mike. Please say hello to Denise. Or if you're listening, Denise, hi.
Hi, Mike. Here's Denise.
What about the other Denise?
What about
The other
what about the nephew?
I'm sure she's never heard any of this. Ever.
See my purple tongue?
Nice.
gold.
Yes. I've been eating cherries. I love cherries.
I'm going to have to slap an explicit warning on this.
Yeah. Don't worry, you can edit that. Oh no, you don't edit the.
But a big censored thing there.
Well, I won't be on at the beginning this time because I was introduced earlier, so I'll just be in the back. It'll just be introducing Nick, and then you guys will carry on.
Carry On. Of course, that's a
Carry
great
on.
series of
I
British
know.
movies.
So
The Carry On movies.
Those broad humor, shall we say?
Yes. Yes, a bit of old-fashioned British working class slapstick.
What was the guy's name? Something James.
Sid James.
Sid James.
He was. I don't think he was. Yeah, well, he was in quite a few of the Carry-Ons, but
I think he was.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. Wasn't he an Australian or it? Anyway, he used
Carry-On
to be.
is what you take on board an airplane, I thought.
That's also very true.
We also got a series called On the Buses. Do you remember that?
Oh yes,
that was
yes.
That
I hate you, Butler.
Yeah, exactly. Hi,
I
Micah.
hate you, Butler. And Hancock's Half Hour.
Yes,
that was
like
another
Tony
one with
Hancock.
Sid James. Yeah, Tony Hancock. He was a tragic character. He committed suicide. So many of these comedians seem to be, have
unhappy people, apparently.
I think they're a lot.
Well,
yes, and I think they're very insecure. Actually, they feel comfortable up in front of a crowd, but in their private life, they are. I don't know.
Yeah, and they have these real highs and lows of depression.
Yeah.
Very sad.
Oh. She's.
Liz is a little bit distracted. She's watching.
I am, and it's a great match too. You guys are damn lucky I showed up.
We are. We're so fortunate.
Oh, Steffi says, Happy National Skydiving Day.
It's Nosediving Day. Not skydiving. She got that wrong.
Are you talking about the Southwest missed approach fiasco? The nosedive? On the
no, actually, I just when it first came up, I got the little memo, on my screen saying, Liz says, Steph says this. And I thought it actually said nosediving because it was only up for a second. But so now I'm going to make a joke out of it.
So it looks like she's up in the air and jumping out of airplanes or something. I don't know.
I think so.
Either flying them or jumping
flying them or jumping. Hopefully not at the same time.
Yeah. Not so great for the people that are passengers. She's going to be distracting us, Nick, while watching this match. All such is going to go, what? What are we doing?
Sorry, I just have to message your wife, Nick.
That you feel free. She's not here. I don't care.
Where is she?
In the big TV room.
Oh, okay, but she's there.
Yes.
Just not right next to you.
So, gentlemen, we're going to try for what, an hour and a half today?
So I think with Nick C, we did 120. So, 115 to 130.
Okay.
Like that.
And as I said, you don't have to do all the news. Just pick and choose.
I guess I should have.
Like to be nice to get through some feedback.
Yeah, absolutely. Where is?
To me, the Dutch roll and the Virgin Atlantic one, and then you can.
Okay.
Oh shoot! She lost, Nick.
Oh no! That's a shame. But she did damn well getting to the final. So
Well, she
Where
was
was she
she,
from?
she was in Italy. She was in the finals in Paris too and lost, which is so sad.
Yep. I mean, she'll get there eventually. I'm sure
Is this
of
the
it.
final?
Yeah.
Yeah, was the ladies' final of Wimbledon.
Is that somewhere over there near where you live?
It's actually we used
I'm
to
just
go.
kidding.
We used to fly right past it on the approach to on the 27s into Heathrow, and you could sort of look down and peer into the big.
See
But it's
the
sort of on your end of
Centre
London.
Courts,
I
yeah.
mean, it's sort of the southwest of London,
Yeah,
right?
southwest corner of
Yeah.
London. Yeah.
Yeah.
I know. I'm just trying to make a joke, which kind of felt pretty flat.
Okay.
Ah.
All right, I'm going to go into the background. So you're just gonna say, and look who's joined us now, or something.
Yeah,
whatever.
something like that.
And at
then,
that point, I'll cut my video.
and then we'll just, yeah, and then I'll go, I guess I'm doing another solo show, another school. So
Oh,
let me
if we're not doing the intro, then I don't have to provide a 6
No, you don't have to worry about
2 3 joke.
623. Yeah.
Oh, I found a good one.
Oh, does he? Okay, then
Yeah.
we'll do the intro then.
Well, it's not that good, but
Well,
I found one.
I'm expecting a lot now.
Oh no. No, you can't do that now.
Too late. Oh, you know what? I need to do the same, I guess. What's the other news? Divergent.
Why
So
don't
those
you
don't require-
just play my intro music and I'll mention it then?
Okay. Let's see. I need to go to. I have to open up my keynote. I think maybe some of the feedback will require video. Maybe. Okay. Yeah. I'm not going to put mine in there right now. Just in case I need to play something, I'll have it. Okay, and StreamYard Studio. Present, share screen, and window, and just media. So mine will be ready to go as well. Okay, and then
I can hear kind of a lot of background noise.
Yeah. Yes, you can.
Okay, that's good.
Let me. No, it's mine, and let me take care of that. I try to super cool this thing, and then I'm going to turn off
All right,
air.
okay.
But thank you for reminding me.
That's all right.
Okay, now it should
Oh,
be
that's all of a sudden.
much quieter. And I bought this little
Yep.
this fan, battery powered sort of fan, but it the suction cup thing doesn't it really it doesn't suck.
My fan doesn't suck. Well,
Yeah.
it's supposed to blow. That's why, Jeff.
Well, no, the fan blows, but the suction cup sucks. So it's a suck and blow. It's kind of like a jet engine.
Oh, exactly. Yes.
But so I have to figure that out. That's a future Jeff problem.
Some W. Oh yeah, that would be good.
Yes,
Actually,
main man
I like
Micah
the
says
Dyson
fans blow,
ones.
vacuum cleaners suck.
Very true.
It's funny. I have because I ended up taking a relatively new vacuum cleaner from my actual house when we were moving out, and Linda said, do you need a vacuum? And I said, yeah. So it's a Dyson Animal. It's like a big Dyson.
Oh yeah. With the
so I had-
ball on it.
Yeah. And I had it in my apartment, and then so I'm thinking I started doing some research on like a vacuum for this place, and then finally at the last minute I went, well, I already have this, so I'll just stick it in. It's not compact. It takes up a lot of
It's a
room.
huge great one.
Yeah.
You want one of those
But-
little mini ones that we've got. You can do half the
But
house one
I
battery.
know, but you know what? Right now, this is already bought and paid for. I already have it. So I just went ahead and threw it in.
Cheapskate old captain.
Well, waste not, want not.
What you want to do is you want to put it on eBay, flog it, and then with that you can offset the cost of your new mini Dyson.
Sounds like too much work to me.
Battery-powered Dyson.
You're like, where am I going to do that? Yeah. Where am I going to do that? Just along the road somewhere? Hey, if you're anywhere on Interstate 80 between Mitchell and Sioux Falls,
Well,
I'll
you
be
know,
at
you could
exit
turn it into
43.
you could turn it into an adventure, and say, "I will deliver," and then when they bought it, you could set off in your RV.
Hey, folks, see the ideas that these people come up with? How helpful they are? Oh yeah, Liz is sounding brilliant because you can't hear what she's saying. Okay. All right. So just play the music for you and that's it?
Yep.
Okay. Let me see if this is too loud.
1,000.
No,
Okay.
it's okay.
I can lower it if you want. Okay. Oh my goodness.
1,000.
Look who we have joining us. It is the wonderful, the famous, and the infamous Captain Nick Anderson.
Hi there, Jeff. Lovely to be back on the show. This is APG 623, and it reminds me that every time I got an oceanic clearance to go across the pond to see America, I had to use ARINC 623 in order to communicate with people. So ARINC 623 is a functionality of the flight management system.
Okay, that was
And-
great. That was
Yeah,
great.
well,
That was a great rehearsal.
Oh, you haven't
Somebody
got-
forgot
you're
to
not
tell me to start
recording.
my recorder.
Okay.
That was a good rehearsal.
Yeah.
Now, let's see if we can do a little
That's-
bit better. I have my recorder on.
Oh, cool.
I
Hi,
should have had it on
everybody,
before,
with the
of course.
recorder on.
But see, now, you had that little run through. Now this time it's going to be just completely flawless. Not that it wasn't.
It'll be a complete flop. That's what you
Yeah,
mean.
well, that's what they come here for, to see us
Yep.
flip-flop around. Oh my goodness, look who's here. It is the former fighter pilot and airline captain extraordinaire from his home studio in Hampshire, Captain Nick Anderson.
Hello there, Jeff. Great to be back on the show. This is APG 623, and did you know when you use your CPDLC to get your oceanic clearances, you use ARINC 623, a functionality of the flight management system? Well, I never. So all the time we'll be holding this show or having this show, Liz is going to have to answer all those oceanic requests and do all that coordination because they'll be coming through to her now.
So is that referred to by everybody out there doing CPDLC and oceanic clearances as 623?
No, I
heard of
suspect there are a few nerds
Okay.
who
Just
know
wondering.
about
I've
it.
never heard of 623, and not that I've received an oceanic clearance ever.
Well,
on CPDLC.
Mr. Honeywell has it on his website, a data link overview of ARINC 623.
Oh, interesting. Well, that is fascinating, I say.
Yeah,
Fascinating, I tell
absolutely
you.
fascinating.
Hey, on the just earlier on our show, this is what we did the recording, Liz, on was it Tuesday of last week, and now we're on Saturday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, so that's 4 days ago, and since then, I have listened to a couple of outstanding aviation podcasts, not ours, but they're even better.
What?
Who I know. Sometimes I'll do that. One of which is called Opposing Bases. Apparently, it's the best aviation podcast in the universe or something,
That's the one.
or at least the world. And they addressed something that Camacho and I addressed earlier in this show, the medical, the psychological. Now that I like mental criteria and FAA suggestion to move forward and giving AMEs a little bit more discretion, and they don't have to automatically send these things directly to FAA Oklahoma City to work out. So it's it's a great thing. We talked about it earlier, but since then I listened to Opposing Base's latest show, which I believe, let me make sure I get the number right. I think it's episode 340.
Is that all they've
let's see.
done? God, lummy. They
Yeah,
need
that's
to
only-
work
they've
a
only
bit
done
harder, don't they?
340.
They need to
Let's
stop
see.
taking
Again.
holidays.
So theirs was, episode 340, Mental Health Matters, where AG kind of shares a story that he experienced, one of apparently many very kind of scary things that he experienced when he was flying the Chinook helicopter in Afghanistan and Iraq, I believe. And so that's an excellent addendum or an additional piece of information about this new positive movement in the FAA and medical and mental health matters. And also just listening this morning, because they referred to this from Max Trescott in his Aviation News Talk podcast, which is another excellent aviation podcast out there. And in episode 335, it's called Mental Health Issues, What Pilots Need to Know, with Dr. Victor Vogel, and they discuss this whole thing. So it's definitely something that you should listen to if you aren't already listening, subscribing to those great aviation podcasts out there. I just wanted to mention that. So
Dr.
Good stuff.
Victor Vogel sounds like one of those Muppets, on Sesame Street.
he didn't sound
And
like,
now we have Dr. Victor Vogel. Ah.
well,
Well-
he doesn't do video, so maybe he is. He didn't sound like a Muppet. I don't know.
Okay.
Don't
Not
listen
even like the
yourself
Swedish
and
chef.
find out.
Do,
I
do,
don't-
do, 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 do,
I
do.
don't- Okay. Wow. So now that I've gotten that out of my system, thank goodness, we should probably start a little bit of a news thing. I'm not going to play the news bumper again. Let's see. Where is it? Okay, I'm trying to find the window. Okay, since we talked about this earlier on the show, has been released by the NTSB as a preliminary report on that Dutch roll incident. Actually, we talked about that on the last show, didn't we?
Yep, last week.
And yeah, it was the title.
It was indeed.
So, and the reason why we're going to mention this is it gives us a little bit more information. It goes through the history of the flight. I'm not going to read the whole thing. We'll have a link to this in the show notes, and you can read it yourself. But apparently, they covered all the things that we talked about, but it also talks a little bit about the timeline of events. And I'm not sure we mentioned any of this and I don't even think we knew this. So the event actually occurred on what day? Trying to scan. this very
25th of
quickly.
May.
25th. Okay.
Yeah,
On the
25th
16th of May. Ah. Okay. The day after
They
stuff.
didn't mention that in the report, did
No, they didn't.
No.
I'm very disappointed.
Yeah, not very thorough.
No. Right. May 16th, so 8 days before, if I've done my math correct, or something like that. 25, 16, 9 days maybe, before the event took place. A Southwest Airlines Flight 621 landed at Louis Armstrong New Orleans International Airport. While parked overnight, there was a pretty strong storm system that came through, thunderstorms, with a very, very large squall line and gust front. And let's see, I'm trying to. Peak gust of 73 knots was recorded at just before midnight Central Daylight Time. So I think they just are using that as a data point to kind of say that it's possible that um, where the airplane was parked and the gust front and the angle of incidence on flight control surfaces, etc., that may have something to do with the rudder power control unit damage. Although we were just discussing this right before we started recording this part too, that at the end of this preliminary report, they kind of indicate that they're really not sure exactly when the damage to the power control unit actually occurred, whether it happened before the Dutch roll encounter or after, or during and after. So, but they're looking at all the possibilities here. So that's what I kind of got from this preliminary report. How about you, Nick?
Yeah, they made the point that part of the investigation will be to determine when the structural damage occurred, but that would seem to be a prime player in the investigation, this particular bad weather incidents. But although there's no physical. I say physical. There's no gust lock system built into the 7.3 to prevent the rudder from banging about. It doesn't fly free, and when the hydraulic system has got below a certain pressure, then a little pair of doors opens in the pistons that would normally
And little
power
Muppets
it.
come out.
Yeah, yeah. Well, they do. They
Victor Vogel.
hang on like grim death to the rudder and stop it flapping about. No, the actual actuators themselves act as power as a dampener to prevent the rudder from banging backwards and forwards. So it just allows the fluid to move through the piston as the rudder moves, but at a slow rate, in order to prevent this kind of damage. So, in theory, this shouldn't have happened, but there you go.
I was thinking, I was trying to quickly look up, but I hadn't. You stopped talking too soon. Nick. There was
Sorry.
a.
I'm not Rick. That's the problem.
Yeah, I could have written a dissertation if Rick was talking about this, right?
Yes,
There was
exactly.
an incident with a MD-80 series. I don't think it was an 88, maybe an 83 or 85 in Ann Arbor, I believe, or near. I'm trying to remember the exact location. Can't remember the Willow Run. That's it. Thank you. Yeah, Willow Run. In outside of Detroit, and it was a charter flight picking up. I think it was the University of Michigan's basketball team. I think they were going to be going to. Yeah, you're right. They were about to head to the Final Four somewhere, like going into Washington D.C. or something like that. Anyway, and they had the basketball team on board, and they had some of the pep band was. Also, a lot of the supporting characters of the whole basketball program. And they experienced, the airplane was parked there, I don't know how many days prior, at least one. And there was another severe wind kind of a situation. And where the airplane was parked was between a couple of buildings. And so that kind of funnel, I don't know if you've been in a downtown area with skyscrapers and stuff like that. When the wind blows, sometimes it just amplifies multiple times the velocity, creates a Venturi, I guess, effect.
That's exactly right.
And that's exactly what they think happened in this case, where the way the airplane was parked in, as Nick mentioned, there really aren't on bigger airline kind of category airplanes gust locks. At least modern airliners don't have gust locks to protect against these kind of things, especially the McDonnell Douglas 80 series airplane, all the control surfaces are basically not even connected to anything. It's just magic. I'm not sure exactly.
How do you
But,
fly then?
They flip flop around. They do all kinds of crazy things. I don't know if you've ever seen the elevators on a McDonnell Douglas. It's just like one going up and one going down, and you go, wait a minute, something's wrong. Something's wrong there.
Yep.
Anyway, so this thing was flopping around basically in this really high wind situation, damaged the one of the arms for one of the elevators, and of course, there's no way to know that. Yeah, like Captain Nick is demonstrating exactly the way that little control arm was just dangling in a really perverted looking way. And the flight took off, well, tried to take off, and at the point of which they're pulling the control yoke back to have the elevators, push the tail down, the nose up, and start flying kind of thing, nothing happened. It didn't go flying, because it was not enough. The arm wasn't actually activating the elevator on one of the sides. And so anyway, there was a crash there. So I guess maybe they're thinking that something like that may have happened in this case and contributed in some way to
Well,
this,
yeah, the damage seems to be in the structure that supports the power control units. So the power control units may have been trying to do their job and prevent the rudder from banging around, but because of the force that the wind was putting on the rudder, perhaps the structure holding the PCUs was damaged, was cracked, and that then subsequently led to this strange partial failure of the PCU to prevent the Dutch roll they experienced. It's all very interesting. Yeah. It's like a little detective story.
It is. That's the cool thing about aircraft investigation, incident and accident investigation. It definitely is like a detective story, trying to find out using forensic data to determine, what happened. Okay, so that's that. And which one we're going to go to next, Liz? Oh, F. Okay.
Did Liz just say number F?
She did say number F. Yes.
We're going to have to think about having her replaced,
It's a new numbering system. wait a minute. No. You're not going to get it. You're not going to get out of this thing back.
Sorry for snorting.
Okay. Numeral and alphabetic character 01F. This is specifically for Captain Nick. Okay. This from airlive.net. First Officer Danica Thuma, I guess. Was that the way you'd say that? Thuma? Had reportedly been working for... Okay, so I guess I should read the headline then. Virgin Atlantic fires pilot secretly working for another airline. First Officer Danica Thuma had reportedly been working for both airlines since at least December of 2023. Virgin Atlantic, which only operates long-haul flights, requires pilots to have a specific number of days off between duties to prevent fatigue. And that's DUTIES. Duties, just to be clear.
Not DOOT.
Not duties. Can you imagine having to schedule that, several days off between duties? Anyway, yeah. Thuma's colleagues reported that she used her mandatory rest periods to travel to London and fly Virgin Atlantic planes out of Heathrow. This violates international safety regulations concerning flight duty times and rest periods, crucial for ensuring crew and passenger safety. However, it remains unclear how the pilot managed to hold a second job at KM Malta Airlines while meeting Virgin Atlantic's scheduling requirements. Well, Virgin Atlantic immediately fired Thuma upon discovering the double employment. KM Malta Airlines reportedly took a different approach. The Maltese carrier might be desperate for pilots, as evidenced by the fact that the airline only suspended the woman for a short period before reinstating her rather than terminating her employment. Yeah.
Well,
I
yeah,
don't think they
either
went
that
far,
or
Liz.
she knows someone in the airline very well, or perhaps has some dirt on somebody. I find this absolutely unbelievable. I mean, having worked obviously for Virgin for many years, I don't know how on earth she could hold down two jobs, basically using her days off to fly for one airline, and then and switching between them, and how she managed to manage her schedule. Was she part timing or something? This is absolutely bizarre, and of course incredibly dangerous, because you need that time off to rest properly. There are a lot of guys who flew for Virgin who had a second flying job, but generally speaking, they were display pilots, that sort of thing. We had a guy who flew the last flying Vulcan. Rats is a Spitfire demonstration pilot and flies that. Some people. One bloke had a hot air balloon company, so he went flying in hot air balloons. So I think that would probably have, registered on my, oh my God, this guy's a loony scale. And in fact,
Speaking of mental health issues.
yeah, exactly right. And I think he probably would have suffered under that. I don't know how he got the tick test you do at the beginning when you join the. I don't know he got through that. Anyway,
Well, did he have other experience other than hot air ballooning, I'm hoping, before they hired him?
I think he was a Harrier, Navy Harrier pilot. He ejected out of
that's
two
dangerous.
of them.
My.
So he threw away two fully capable Harriers, which I thought was
I guess
a bit...
Virgin was really in desperate need of pilots as well.
yes, that's very true. Yeah, but well, we did have to get rid of a few guys for various sort of misdemeanors like that. Someone padded their logbook to get enough hours to become a captain above his colleagues who were dutifully, working those hours. He padded his logbook, and they discovered the padding, and he went off to fly for Air Mauritius, I think. After the company got rid of him, which is a lovely place to live. But anyway, going back to this lady, I'm just gobsmacked by the whole thing, and to say it violates international safety regulations, I would say, is just the least of it. I'm not too sure why the Civil Aviation Authority or whoever holds her license or issued her license haven't got involved in this, because this is a gross failure of her duties as a responsible pilot. So, what can I say? I don't know. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
I mean, apart from anything else, putting your job in jeopardy, because you must realise eventually someone's going to squeal on you or notice, or something's going to go wrong. And she could have lost both her jobs and her licence, and never flown again. But she appears to have hung on to at least one. So this Maltese carrier, are they chocolate Maltesers that they carry? I don't know.
Wow. I'd want to fly for them if that's the case, because I love chocolate malt. Malt
Yes,
balls.
yes. Malt balls? Is that
Yes.
what you call them
Well,
over there?
That's what they call them in the U.S., don't they, Liz? Malt balls? I think so.
Oh,
Okay,
well,
let me do
you see, Canadians are more
We're talking about
civilized
chocolate
when it
malt
comes to...
balls, right?
Yeah, they've got a honeycomb centre, and then they're round and covered in chocolate, about the
Okay,
size of a
so
marble.
I just did a quick search on the Book of Knowledge, otherwise known as the internet, Google. Yeah, they're called malt balls
There you
here
go.
in the U.S.
Oh, okay.
I think if we're talking about the same thing, I think we're talking about that kind of crunchy honeycomb kind of center, and then a chocolate, and then sometimes they put a candy shell on the outside.
Well,
Apparently.
I've heard of mothballs, but
Not
not
mothballs.
malt balls.
Yeah,
No.
you don't want to get those two confused. By the way, that
No. Well,
It's not a
that's the
pleasant
old joke.
experience.
If I've got a mothball in this hand and a mothball in this hand, what have I got? And there are several answers, one of which is a very nervous
Senility?
moth. Yeah, the other would be an extremely large moth. Yes.
Okay.
Anyway.
Oh,
Wow.
wow.
Well, Nick was talking about
Okay.
moving dogs around. I'm not quite sure what that reference is now.
Yeah, if you want to join us, Nick, you're welcome to. But so
Absolutely.
let's see. I guess that's all really we probably want to say about the Virgin Atlantic lady. Okay. All right, let's do that then. I'll do another getting to know us thing. Well, actually, yeah, I do have just a quick mention on the coffee fund, but we'll get to that in a minute. So, getting to know us is our little segment that we get all caught up on what's been happening with the crew members since the last episode or episodes. And Captain Nick, I know you're still busy in the bowling season, bowling league.
Well,
any
not
updates
quite
on that
so
that you'd
busy
actually
now.
want to talk about?
Yeah, not quite so busy because the competition that we got through to the county finals for, and this is for a team of 4 guys playing another, obviously, club. Sadly, we have got as far as we could, and I was out there this morning playing away, and we never really got, call it the rub of the green, we never really got much luck. And sadly, our opposition bested us. Well, they played very well, so jolly good luck to them. So we're out of that, so I won't be playing in that anymore. But I still got plenty of other competitions. Got a singles match tomorrow for a trophy in our club and a few other things. But that's really it. I saw a special offer for a Formula One car. Oh, look, hello. Captain Jeff and I both like Formula One. This is the Mercedes from last year that Hamilton drove, number 44, and they were flogging it off cheap. So I would never have paid full price for this wee model, but now it's going to adorn my shelves. And what else have we got? Oh, the cover art. Do you want me to cover the cover art?
Cover the
Yes.
cover art.
Well, we had a small list of potential show titles for the last one. Smelly Sausage was one. Yeehaw Dampers, brackets Dr. Strangelove, and Dutch Roll. Well, Dutch Roll seemed very easy, so I asked the AI to knock up me a Dutch master's interpretation of Dutch people rolling things, and the AI
barrels.
came up with this nice scene actually with little Dutch houses and a windmill. I stuck the aeroplanes in there because obviously got to have something aviation.
Yeah.
And these people, of which there just had to be the perfect number, there were 6 of them. 6 people rolling barrels down a hill, and barrels are usually full of drink, so I thought that's absolutely perfect. Anyway, I can see us doing that as well, and although you can't really make it out once the picture is small, when I was doing it, I managed to put each of our faces into one of the characters. So you've got, on the left, you've got Liz in her red coat, and then there is, and at the top of the hill was Steph and Nick Camacho, and then there's Jeff bending over trying to herd a barrel in. So that leaves Rick. That must be Rick with his sunglasses in the blue coat.
Rick with the sunglasses.
And then
yeah.
I'm in the front drawing on the barrels, and guess what I'm drawing? Well, you can see on the barrels there's 622 if you look carefully, plus the logo in the middle of the bottom of the 6. So that's where the show number was.
Very clever. I love that. That's almost something that I'd like to have a print of and hang on my wall. Maybe like put it right behind me here.
Yeah,
Maybe
if
I
I
could.
were you, I'd just put it on your television every now and again, because I wouldn't want it
Yeah,
permanently on my
I
wall. I
should.
tell you that.
Maybe I should have like a TV monitor mounted right behind me,
Oh,
and then
that's a
I
good
could have all
idea.
kinds of things,
You could
displayed.
just have a slideshow of all the
Yeah,
artwork going through. That's a good
something
idea.
to
I
think
like that.
about. Something to think
There you
about.
go. So that was the
Yeah.
cover art.
All right. Excellent. Well, before I do, just a quick update since earlier in the show, since it's 4 days later now. Um, I yeah. I did make it the following day after we recorded part one. Left for Branson, Missouri. Arrived here on Wednesday afternoon. I've
Is
been
that Richard
basically
Branson?
no, not. I don't think there's any relation. Maybe I don't know. Maybe
Oh,
he
okay.
owns the
Yeah.
town.
He could
Possibly.
do,
He
yes.
seems
Yes,
to
he
own a lot of
renamed it
things.
after himself. Yes.
Although I think they would have called it like Virgin something instead of just Branson. Virgin Ozarks. Yeah.
All right. Oh.
Not sure how many of those are here actually, but
What, the Virgins or the
anyway,
Ozarks?
it's beautiful. I've never been to Branson, Missouri before, and it's absolutely gorgeous. Lots of hills and the Ozark Lake or Table Rock Lake or something like that, or the
Well,
White
I've
River.
I've
I don't
seen
know.
the TV show. So is it like that?
Yeah, it's a
Well,
lot.
full
A
of
lot.
drug runners and things.
Yeah, I've run into several drug runners, drug money runners, and launderers, money launderers, and people trying to sell me, illicit. No, I haven't seen any of that actually.
Oh, what
Uh,
a shame.
yeah, what a shame. Yeah, no, it's. I've been having a great time here, meeting all the fellow fans of the Petersons. I'm wearing my Petersons shirt.
Oh,
Patreon
excellent.
meetup.
Lovely.
They have a nice little shirt made for that, and I've actually met two people that know me from podcasting, aviation podcasting. Actually, one of them that I met last night. I met he and his family. Again, I've met them before, but it was like a long, long time ago, back in my Catholic podcasting days. StarQuest Production Network. By the way, Mike and Denise, you'll recognize the name, the Padley family, Brian Padley. Anyway, I'm talking with some people last night at a campfire jam, I think they called it, and I all of a sudden I hear this guy on my right go, Captain Jeff, and I went, why is somebody referring to me as Captain Jeff? Because nobody knows me at this gathering, this meetup thing, as Captain Jeff. I'm just Jeff. And so I turned around and went, oh, you look familiar to me. And so anyway, so that's like a blast from the past. The Padleys, Brian and his wife Stephanie, and his two of his younger children are here with them. And then also the night before, there was a gathering at a coffee shop, and this guy sitting across from him, and we're talking about this and that, and he goes, Jeff? And I'm thinking, yeah, I already introduced myself as Jeff, but it was like the light bulb went off in his head. Oh, I think this is Jeff from the Airline Pilot Guy show. And turns out he listens to our show. He's been a listener now for about 2
Isn't that
years, I think he
amazing?
said. Yeah, his name is Tony. I sorry, Tony, I forgot your last name. But so we had a nice little conversation there. But it's just what a small world. I didn't
Oh,
expect anybody
absolutely.
here to know anything about what we do on aviation podcasting. So it's been a lot of fun
It's
here.
great to know.
Pardon me, my disguise? Yeah, I need to wear darker sunglasses and maybe wear a hat.
Well, if you could put a more realistic false moustache on, that would help.
Yeah, I guess I need to shop for a new one.
Yeah, it's looking a
Anyway.
bit ratty, quite honestly.
I've gotten, I think I've mentioned before here on the show that I've been trying to grow my hair out a little bit longer. I think I about had it with the longer hair. I think I'm gonna shift back to my shorter hair because it's so hard. I know Liz she's happy about that. But it's hard to take care of, and especially when you're doing this kind of lifestyle where, you may not get to shower every day necessarily, and just working with I know, can you believe it? Actually, I've been pretty good at showering every day. since I've started my trek back on the 16th of June. Actually, I think I've snuck a couple of quick showers when I was up there in that camp out up in the Canadian Rockies. I don't think anybody else had a shower, but I did. And so I
Excellent.
tried to make it not very obvious that I was, you know. Anyway, um, I'm heading out. I'm heading up toward Oshkosh on Monday. I'm not sure how many days it's going to take me to get up there and where I'm going to stop en route. Haven't even looked at it honestly, so I'll start thinking about that maybe after we record part 2 here, and I'll let you know. And I hope to be better about doing the updates on Twitter/X because I haven't been very good at that. Sorry. Okay. And anyway, I've been having a blast here, and the Petersons family, they're just so talented, and they're such wonderful people. These people, we were at this Dogwood Canyon Nature Park thing yesterday. So a part of the group went up there for that, or went down there, and it was raining at a certain point where we were supposed to be having our lunch. Ellen, one of the daughters of the family, is out there with like a cloth, like a towel, drying off the tabletop. I'm looking like she's the only one doing it. I'm thinking, and she's like one of the celebrities, in quotes. Um, she's one of the family members of the family that we came here to listen to and to talk to and meet up with, and it just shows the character of this family and their servant kind of culture, which is just awesome. Great people and very talented people. And anyway, I could
And
go on
nice,
and on and
Jeff.
on about how
Yeah,
wonderful
sounds
this family
brilliant.
is. Yeah. Okay, that's enough of that. Coffee fund, and it's just I don't have any slides, Liz, but I'll just wing it. So, coffee fund is your way to support.
Johnny, how much more coffee? No thanks.
This is when I say this. I love coffee. I love tea. I love the APG community. Coffee and tea and the Java and me. A cup, a cup, a cup, a cup, a cup. Oh yeah. So the coffee fund, this is where I say this, is your way to support our show financially. If you get value, if you get entertainment, probably not much knowledge, but you might get some, like a little nugget of something from listening to us, especially listening to the Plain Tales. But anyway, so if you would like to support the show financially, a couple of different ways to do that. One is the Coffee Fund. What do we call that? The Classic Method. And every month, Dr. Karim, Mazuz Karim, sends in a nice donation. Thank you again, Dr. Karim, for that. And if that's usually like a one-off or once a month kind of thing, if you're interested in using that mechanism via PayPal. And the other way to become a supporter of the show financially is to become a patron of the show via Patreon. Bunch of folks over there doing that. You just pledge a certain amount per creation, per episode. And yeah, no new patrons this episode, but it's there for you if you want to check it out. Again, airlinepilotguy.com/coffee. You'll be glad you did. And we will too.
Yeah, you
All
bet.
Some more feedback, and let me go over here to the Evernote. Oh, okay. We've had this for a while, Peter. Sorry we haven't gotten to it. Yeah, we have a lot of feedback that has been with us for a while, and we're hopefully going to be able to cover some of that today. So let me go over here to this video that Peter Tarantelli in Florida sent. It's his feedback's entitled 1971 Plane Crash Wreckage Found. And he said he thought we might find this interesting. And so we're just going to play. I'm not sure how much of this I'm going to play. We'll see. It's been a while since I've seen this video. So let me go over here and hit return and see what happens.
The National Transportation Safety Board is starting to look into the discovery of a wreck at the bottom of Lake Champlain. This particular wreck, though, is an aircraft. ABC 22's Mike Hoey joins us now live in the studio to fill us in.
Well, Lauren, Gary Kozak is an undersea search expert from Goffstown, New Hampshire. He says he's 99% sure he and a colleague have found a plane that crashed into the lake in 1971 with 5 people aboard. A small corporate jet took off from Burlington's airport on January 27, 1971. It was bound for Providence, Rhode Island, but less than 10 miles from Burlington, the control tower lost radar and radio contact with the plane over Lake Champlain. It's never been found, and none of the 5 people on board have been seen since.
There have been so many searches, and they've all been unsuccessful. And the family members have continually had the hope that it would be found.
Middlebury College and the Lake Champlain Maritime Museum mapped the lake bottom in 1997 for shipwrecks, not planes, but Gary Kozak says they did a thorough job. A re-examination of their data this past winter led him and a colleague to an anomaly in an area 200 feet deep just west of Juniper Island.
And we went back out, a week ago and took in a very high resolution sonar. And there was no doubt we had a crash site.
Because they don't have the FAA registration number of the jet they found on Saturday, Kozak says they're not 100% sure this was the 1971 crash. But
how many corporate jets have crashed in Lake Champlain? This is the only one I know. How many airplanes have crashed where the old radar information tracked it? How many airplanes had a custom paint job, which was black, red, black striping on the side of the aircraft?
where law enforcement is concerned, Vermont State Police tell us, quote, VSP is aware of reports of this discovery, but primary jurisdiction would fall initially to the National Transportation Safety Board. The NTSB says the FAA sent them the details about the discovery, adding, quote, we will be evaluating the specifics of what was found and the degree of certainty to which we are able to positively link it back to the wreckage that was located. Kozak.
Okay, so that's almost the entire video. We'll have the entire video in the show notes if you want to watch the rest of it. This is from the local ABC 22 News up in Burlington, Vermont.
So it's not Amelia Earhart then? I was thinking perhaps they'd found her, but
yeah,
I
she was way off course if she landed in Lake Champlain.
Well, we're assuming, or it could have been the Malaysian flight.
Oh yeah, this is a little bit too small though, the wreckage that they found here. But you know, you're looking at the paint scheme of they had the photo of the paint scheme when it was out of the water, and they showed a shot of the sonar or the photographic evidence of the. I guess that was photographic, or was that sonar graphic that we were looking at there? Photograph of the fuselage of this jet, the wreckage. 200 feet, that's a lot. That's deep. That's very deep.
Oh
water.
yeah, for diving in normal scuba gear, yes, you'll need a specialist gear. Yep. But
that's cold even at the surface, Liz.
Yeah. Now at least the family, if they want to, can perhaps pay for a mini sub or something to go and check it out and decide whether they want to try and lift it.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
1971. That would be like more than 50 years, right? If I've done my math correct. 53 years. Wow. Very interesting. Well, thank you very much, Peter, for sending that in. That was interesting. All right. Let's do this from Sam. Speed enforcement, he says. Yes, I'm going way back in time, still catching up on episodes. Poor Sam has the syndrome, sadly. This regarding vehicle speeding violations on episode 377. Wow, that was some time ago. Years ago,
what were we doing
our family,
talking about speed violations?
I don't even remember what we were talking about with speeding violations, honestly. Do you?
No, not a clue. There you go.
Huh.
Well, let's find out.
I don't know. Anyway, he continues, Sam Bolog. Years ago, our family was traveling on a turnpike in Pennsylvania where the speed was enforced by the time it took you to get through the turnpike via your stamped entrance time. Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah. Could be sometimes you'll see the sign on the highway that says speed is enforced by aircraft or something like that. And they have marks painted on the road that they can kind of do a timing thing to see. So that must have been what we were talking about. So Sam continues. A ticket was issued as you exited if the time didn't match the average speed limit. And that actually, Nick, that's kind of a technology that is used quite a bit over on the roads where you live too, isn't it? They
Oh
do an
yeah, if only
average
they
speed.
could use this wonderful technology for something that benefits us, but no, they've decided to use it to catch people who might be speeding. So yeah, we've got number plate recognition cameras on a lot of our roads now that will log you as you go past, and also go online and check your insurance is valid and your MOT test, which is a fitness for the vehicle to be on the road test that you have to put it through every year, and various other things. And when you go past the next one, they'll have worked out your average speed and decide if you've been speeding or not, and automatically issue a ticket. So, yeah, not a lot you can do about that. I'm sorry.
No, I was going to say I think they're just trying to get rid of the people that are a menace to society.
I know, but this guy doing the flying has no airline experience at all. He's a menace to himself and everything else in the air. Yes, birds too.
Yeah, very good. Yeah, you're probably right. But on the other hand, you do wonder if it's Big Brother, and they just want to claw more money from us all. I don't know.
But don't you love your big brother? Come on.
Well, I do actually. He's Canadian, so I have to. It's in it's in the United Nations Charter that
Okay.
if your big brother's a Canadian, you have to love him.
You got to love all the Canadians.
All of them. Yeah, I don't know. I've got
Every
time to
single one.
love them all. But
Well, that's a different version of the verb love, I think, that you're thinking of. But okay.
there you go.
Anyway, so Sam ends. I was wondering if this technique is still in use, and I think yes, it is. And I thought it to be very efficient. Maybe JJ Pittsburgh will know. I don't know. JJ, let us know if that is still in use. Okay. The JJ is the one that sent in that feedback back in episode 377. Now it's all coming together, isn't it? Thank you, Liz, for making it make sense to me.
So
right, well,
if you've
thank
got
you,
an
Sam.
aircraft up there that's timing you, how do they get your registration if you haven't been through a... Oh, God, talk about resources just to know one speeder. Good Lord, that's... Yeah.
Oh, and by the way, I still have not been pulled over and asked why I don't have any license plates on my vehicle. I'm still looking, still expecting to see the blue and red lights as I travel along in my road vessel. I know it's going to happen. I just know it. But I'll be ready to hand them that little piece of paper that says that I have it registered. Yeah,
It'll
I
fly
hope I
out
don't.
it'll fly out of the window just before you get pulled over.
Oh, honestly, really, I used to have a piece of paper proving that this is legit. Oh, now I get slapped with a littering ticket.
Yes, quite right too.
All right, let's continue with Eduardo. It's his first feedback. Yay.
Oh, well
you,
done,
Eduardo.
Eduardo. You've
Where you
broken your virginity.
My name is Eduardo, and I'm from Brazil. Used to fly for Orange Acme, and now flying BizJets. I've been listening to the show since 2022 when my pilot manager introduced me. By that time, the show had just reached episode 500. I decided to listen from episode 1 because I was curious. The syndrome strikes again.
Good Lord, he caught that quickly. He can't have a very good immune system.
I decided to listen from episode 1 because I was curious about how each crew member got onto the show. Yeah, I'm still wondering. I'm currently at episode 389 and counting, maybe a light APG syndrome. No, it seems pretty heavy to me, Eduardo, if you've gone all the way back to 1. The show is entertaining and informative. Bing! That's exactly what we're looking for. Yeah, here we go. Normally I listen when I'm driving, running, or doing domestic work. I can't single out which is my preferred section, but Old Pilot Plain Tales is one of them. Yeah.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah.
Cheers, Eduardo.
Yep. Everybody loves the old Pilot's Plain Tales. Wish you a good one. Keep it coming. Blue skies, tailwinds, and please keep the number of takeoff and landings equal. Yes. Now,
it's a tough ask, but I think Jeff will be
especially
able
for
to
Steph.
manage now. He's grounded.
Yeah, I can, but Steph still has trouble with
Yes.
keeping the takeoffs and landings the same. Although I was having this discussion the other night with somebody talking about the same number of takeoffs and landings. I'm thinking, well, if I had accurately logged my landings, I think that my landings probably outnumber my takeoffs because, there were a few hard bounced kind of landings.
Oh, well,
in the
yeah.
past.
I mean, I think back to my military days when we got back after a mission. If we had any spare fuel, we'd go round the pattern and do a few touch and goes. So do they count as landings?
I don't know. Does that count as a takeoff and landing maybe? I don't know. I'm not sure what the rules are with that.
Neither
But
do
then
I,
again,
no.
honestly, I had to admit that since I got hired by Delta back in 1988, I have not kept a logbook. So, I hope that's not illegal. I hope that the FAA doesn't come down on me now that I've been. I didn't. I'm just kidding. I didn't say that. Oh yeah, I am clearly a criminal.
Clearly.
A scofflaw.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. Well, speaking of scofflaws, Robert Tucker, Robert from Tucker, Georgia, or living in Tucker,
Is that
Georgia.
his middle name, Scofflaw?
Robert Scofflaw Tucker. He says, thanks for the recent tip on the 2024 Blue Angels documentary. Even though I aborted watching the rest of the APG episode to switch over. Now, didn't I tell everybody not to leave and watch the documentary? Robert, yeah, you need to think about what you did there. He says regarding the Blue Angels documentary, my first observation: chemtrails galore. Cue horror. Make sure not to tell those Tennessee legislators about this documentary. Otherwise, we'll never see more chemtrails. Yeah, we'll never see any more Blue Angels chemtrails. Apparently, I guess it's those colored smoke trails that they.
Yeah,
emit.
they squirt diesel oil into the jet pipe, don't they, to do that?
Oh,
Dyed
interesting.
I think it's diesel oil, but
well, how do they make
might
it
be
different
wrong.
colors?
They put dye in the diesel oil, so it's dead diesel oil.
So if I put dye in my diesel fuel,
Oh, yes.
could I put
Yes.
like blue and red?
That would be great. That'd be fantastic.
Oh yeah, that's true. Maybe I don't want to draw that kind of attention. Okay, and
No,
plus I have
love
this
that. I love that
DEF stuff
idea.
that gets rid of any kind of smoke out of the exhaust. So I'm not one of those guys with a diesel engine just pumping out all that thick black smoke. Although it's probably still there, you just can't see it. It's being shielded or disguised by the.
I'm sure you could
diesel
buy a
exhaust
smoke
fluid.
generator and stick it on your roof, though, and
Oh,
go
that'd
down
be
the
fun.
road.
Yeah,
Yep.
I have to think about that one. All right. This is something from Sam Dawson regarding a Cessna 340 crash. He says, an airplane owner receiving flight instruction from a private pilot with no multi-engine experience. What could go wrong?
Uh-oh.
Well, they could crash and they could both die. That's what could go wrong.
Not going to do that again, then, are they?
Nope, they are not. Let's see. So quickly, the analysis: the student pilot, who was a new owner of a multi-engine airplane and a private pilot, flew commercially to Lubbock, Texas, utilized a ride-hailing service to drive to Portales, New Mexico. I think that's the way you say that. Portales, probably. New Mexico. They met with the former owner of the airplane to finalize the purchase of the airplane and flew it back to Georgia the same day. The next day, the student pilot commenced flight training with the private pilot, who offered to provide flight instruction to the student pilot in the student pilot's newly acquired multi-engine airplane, even though he did not possess a flight instructor's rating or a multi-engine airplane rating.
Uh-oh.
Whatever. That's
What
just like
could
those guys up
possibly
in
go
Alaska.
wrong?
You don't need, apparently, you don't need certification anymore here in the U.S. to fly airplanes.
No.
Radar data showed that the track of the airplane accident airplane's route consisted of their departure airport. Is this important or not? Third leg of the flight, they crashed during an approach to their destination airport. Witnesses observed a sharp right turn before the airplane's spiraling descent and impact with terrain and unoccupied semi-trailers, which are lorries, I guess, for those of you over there in that part of the world. Surveillance footage from a parking lot security camera captured the airplane in a right spiral turn just before the accident. So it turns out that the private pilot wasn't an instructor pilot, not even a single engine instructor pilot, and wasn't qualified really, or didn't have the certification to fly multi-engine aircraft. And why the student pilot thought that this guy would be a good person to teach him how to fly this thing is beyond me.
No, me also. But, is it that hard to get an instructor's rating or a multi-engine rating that this guy thought that it was worth taking the risk of teaching this student? And the other thing is, I mean, he would have had to have taught him, but someone else would have done his multi-engine certification test flight, I guess.
Right. I mean, how do you even log that in the logbook of the student pilot if you're not a qualified instructor or certified instructor?
Exactly. And doesn't the FAA examiner who does the test check back to see who taught him and their qualifications? Perhaps not.
They're supposed to. Yeah. That's why I referred to the Alaska just a few minutes ago, that this is kind of a thing now. You know, you don't have to be certified anymore to fly airplanes here in the United States. Yeah, the Alaska thing, neither pilot that they could determine was certified in any way to fly airplanes. But it's Alaska, that's the wild frontier. So, yeah, yeehaw. Where is that? Right here. Yeehaw!
Yeah. Well, apart from that, the student was found to have amphetamine in his bloodstream after the accident, although there was no indication that had specifically caused or contributed to the accident. But there you go. Yeah, I'm afraid, as Liz says, a bad scene.
Yeah. And yes, Pip, I do have hot water showers in my RV.
He also has cold water showers for when he's getting a bit excited.
Yeah. I don't. Thanks. That's not funny.
Sorry. We love you, Jeff.
I'm sure you love me. I don't know if I love the way you love me. Is there a song? Love the way you love me. Something like that. Okay. Hey, I'm trying to find my sound effect. I think I'm going to have to do it this way.
I like doing it that way.
Oh, excuse me? Okay. In episode, this is from Sam Dawson again. De-icing a 737 APG crew.
Impossible. Can't be done.
All right, let's move on then to the next. In episode 611, the question came up about de-icing with frost on the wings of a 737 and how the frost would get there with temperatures above freezing. The responses Jeff and Nick gave hit the nail on the head. Why are we even talking about it?
Yeah, exactly.
Ding. Okay. Oh, hitting the nail. Boom. On the head. And then he says,
Nerd alert!
uh-oh.
Yeah.
Jet aircraft operate at high altitudes with extremely cold temperatures. The fuel in the wings can get down to minus 37 degrees Celsius or lower, depending on the type of fuel, and still be within limits. When the aircraft descends, comma, the fuel inside the wing is cold soaked, and being a liquid takes longer to heat back up than the surrounding air. Other variables in this are the size and shape of the fuel tanks, baffling installed in the tanks that would separate cold-soaked fuel from newly introduced warmer fuel, how long an aircraft sits, and how much of the cold-soaked fuel remains from the previous trip. If the cold-soaked wing descends into humid air, frost can form below and above the wings in the area of the fuel tanks as the fuel cools off the surrounding area of the wing. After some icing accidents with frost on airfoils, the FAA came out with what's called the Clean Aircraft Concept, defined in FAR 121.629B as an aircraft with no, everybody knows that, as an aircraft with no frost, ice, or snow adhering to the wings, control surfaces, propellers, engine inlets, or other critical surfaces of the aircraft. Takeoffs with frost up to 1/8 of an inch or 3 millimeters under the wing in the area of the fuel tanks may be authorized by the administrator. Some operators might be permitted to take off with thin hoarfrost on the upper, don't get excited now, hoarfrost on the upper surface of the wing as well. Just everybody calm down. This would be listed in the FOM or Flight Operations Manual. By the way, FAR, or Federal Aviation Regulation 121, is the U.S. regulation that governs air carriers. A similar regulation is Part 135, which applies to charter air taxi operations, and Part 91, which is private carriage. Most foreign carriers have a similar regulation. So this was not specific to the 737, except that being a narrow body, it probably was turned quickly. In other words, pretty quick flights, one after another. Because of this, fuel in the tanks wouldn't have, the fuel in the tanks wouldn't have a chance to warm up. Normally, as part of my pre-flight, I look for frost under the wings, and if I see some, we'll check the upper surface as well, even if there is no precipitation. But if the aircraft is fueled after the pre-flight, you could have enough fuel added to bring the level of fuel in that tank into contact with the upper wing, but not enough fuel in this wing to bring the temperature of the fuel above freezing. Again, in this case, you could have frost form in the shape of the fuel tank after the walk around if the air is humid enough. This would look very similar to the picture. Does he have a picture? I don't see a picture.
I want to see frost in the shape of Marilyn Monroe, but there you go.
Oh, well, if the fuel tank was in the shape of Marilyn Monroe, Captain Nick, then you would see that. But I'm not sure that is very efficient.
It's all relevant.
Fuel tank design. Yeah, or relevant. Yeah. But it's something to think about.
I've been thinking about it for a while. You can tell, can't you?
I can. That cold water is coming in handy for Captain Nick. By the way, with the shower head that I have in my RV, it has a just like
it's got a Marilyn Monroe setting.
Random thoughts. It has like a little. I'm at an hour. Okay, fine. This is important. Nothing to do with aviation, but the little shower. What do you call it? Spray nozzle thing.
Faucet
Has like a little valve that you can put on it, and it has like it'll sort of stop, not completely stop the flow of water, but it cuts it down pretty considerably, so you're not wasting a lot of water. And so it still trickles out of the shower head. But so that's to keep the temperature of the water relatively consistent. I find it really annoying, so I took that little valve off. So when I'm in there, I'll turn the main shower handle thing on for nice warm water, or hot water actually, and then if I'm to soap up and all that kind of stuff, I'll turn it off completely. When I turn it back on, it's invigorating at times, depending on how cold the water is coming into the RV or in the freshwater tank. But I like it. I haven't felt really super cold water yet, so maybe I'll put that little.
Well, you haven't spent long enough time in Canada. I've got a question for Sam. Yeah. He's given us all these factors about the variables that affect whether you would get frost or not. But he missed one out because the fuel freeze point depends upon the fuel you've got in. But what happens if you've refueled with fuel of a different freeze point and then fly around? When's the fuel freeze point there? And does it affect the amount of frost you get on your wings?
You had to ask him that, didn't you, Nick?
Well, I did, because he's obviously the font of all knowledge.
Yeah, or a lot of knowledge.
Mm.
Well, yeah, so I'm wondering if it like combines or averages or whatever the freezing point of the, I don't know how that works. The Sam APG.
There you go.
Yeah, he's taking over for Rick.
I don't think it's going to affect the frost formation, but it will affect the freeze point of the actual fuel and what limit you can use. And you do mention that as well. But there you go.
Yeah, and that's important to know.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So we can continue with another Samapedia feedback. Okay. Number 10. He says, APG crew, I think I've exceeded my weekly quota of, quote, blowhard know-it-all pilot feedback. And we didn't call it that, Sam. You did. She's being self-deprecating. But Captain Jeff mentioned something in episode 620 that I thought could use some clarification. What? I didn't clarify it enough?
Only one thing?
Just one thing.
Yeah. Aha.
Wait, see.
That's not funny.
Okay. While maybe to you it is, it's not to me. While discussing the use some clarification and is a good example of possible unintended consequences. While discussing the March 21 Singapore Airlines turbulence event, Captain Jeff mentioned infant seats in airplanes and a possible rule requiring their use. The FAA actually considered this in the late 1990s and early 2000s, but a study in 2003 by pediatricians put a stop to this, as it was shown that mandating car seats in commercial aircraft would result in a higher overall infant mortality rate. How is this, you might ask? Well, okay. How is this, Sam? Could you tell me? Well, Sam continues, based on the coast. The coast? No.
Coast.
Based. I'm speaking a different language all of a sudden.
Are you
Based
doing a
on
Stephanie?
the cost, I'm trying. Based on the cost of an airline seat, mandating infant car seats in airliners would result in more parents choosing to drive rather than fly, since driving is a statistically more hazardous mode of transportation.
Oh, well, that's
This
a
would result
cheap
in more
cop-out,
infants
that
being
is.
this would result in more infants being killed in automobile crashes than saved by safety seats in airline crashes. They should, yes. Fly because your kid's going to die in the car. Yeah, I can see that advertising slogan.
Yeah.
The mortality numbers are most likely even more in favor today of a lap child on an airliner versus in a safety seat in an airplane due to the improved airline safety record over the last 20 years. The last U.S. airline, this is interesting, the last U.S. airline crash where an infant might have been saved by being in a safety seat was the United Airlines 232 crash in 1989. The one that the memorial I visited in Sioux City. Yeah.
Good Lord.
That accident spurred the NTSB and the FAA to consider such a mandate. He goes on to say, this is not to say a person shouldn't get a seat for their child in a safety seat if they can afford it. The Alaska Air incident is an example where a lap child near the plug blowing out might not have survived. But we should think twice about mandating their use. So that's an interesting way to look at this, isn't it?
Yep, that is. I like that
so
one.
he included the article from which he's pulling this information from ucsf.edu, the University of California, San Francisco website. So if you're interested in reading more, that will be in the show notes. By the way, a lot of times we'll be referring to things on the show, obviously articles and such, but like during the Getting to Know Us segment, a lot of times we'll be showing several pictures, and just to make it a little bit easier on me in doing the post editing, we or I always put in a link to a show notes document that has all the photos that we usually show, or many of which we show while we're doing the video part of the show. So if you're looking to see pictures of the QFIs, in this case, what, 5 QFIs, Captain Nick, or 6? How many were there of you?
I don't know. I lost count.
Yeah, well, I know you were probably seeing, you had double vision.
Seeing
so
double,
there may have
yeah,
been
yeah. See,
not as many as you thought. But anyway,
Yeah.
he had several pictures of that, and I've showed some pictures of the RV and that kind of thing. That'll be in that show notes link that you can see all that stuff. So if you want to follow along in that way, it's there for you. Although I think the last show I ended up screwing it up a little bit for some reason. So some of you may.
I
notice
can't
that
imagine that, Jeff. Oh,
Well, I
come
know.
on.
Can you believe it?
You've got such a good record.
I know. Well, I do. It's at least
Yeah,
50%.
I do.
Okay. Yeah, let's just do one more item. Oh yeah, Vernon. Okay, let's skip down to. We haven't heard from Vernon in a while. He's a retired CFI and former air traffic controller and other things at Fort Morgan, Colorado. Let me give you his telephone number. He gave that to us here. I should probably take that out before I put that in the show notes. Okay. Old Stapleton Tower for APG meetup. Oh, interesting. Greetings, Captain Jeff, Liz, and APG crew. Recently on APG, there was a mention of the old Denver Stapleton Tower being turned into brewery, bar, and grill and game room. Yesterday, I paid. That's what those air traffic controllers are doing when it's an active tower, right? They're just playing a big game.
That's mini golf, isn't it?
Oh yeah,
They're out there. Yeah,
so.
they out there playing mini golf instead of controlling. No wonder we get all these problems.
Yeah, and and that, by the way, mini golf up there on the top of that tower is really, really dicey, and those strong winds that get up there in Denver.
The 18th hole is very tricky. It's on the roof.
Yeah, very tricky. Anyway, yesterday I paid my first visit, and I think it would be an ideal place for a Denver meetup. There's a lounge area. See photo of wall with 727.
Well, for air traffic controllers, of course, there's a lounge area.
Ooh, look at that. That's a beautiful photo there of look at that gorgeous airplane. That's 727 Flight Co. Okay. Now I got to go back to the article that I was reading. Let's see where we could gather. There's also a meeting room to rent for $50 an hour. That's pretty reasonable. If the weather is nice, there is outside seating. There's mini golf. Oh, you're right, Captain Nick. There is mini golf.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
There you
Now
go.
I see why you were referring to mini golf. I thought you were just being clever. And
Definitely not.
and cornhole. And I don't really want to go into a lot of detail of what that entails.
No.
Yeah. Ooh. Okay. And they have several ice chests full of ice after you've done your cornhole game. The third floor has preparation age. Is there?
There's two pictures of
look.
Vernon.
Oh, look at that. Yeah. Look at Vernon. What a good looking.
There's
And
Vernon
look at that
again.
guy. Wait a minute. Now,
Who
were
put
you
that
there
in?
with Vernon at the control tower and at the old Denver Stapleton?
Definitely. Yeah, of course
Okay.
I wasn't.
Wow.
I saw that picture of Vernon and I went, I've got a picture like that.
No,
So
it looks.
I just slipped it in there.
If you squint, it's like almost the identical building behind.
Well,
the two
that's
of you.
right. Yeah, absolutely. There we
Yeah,
are.
look at that.
He's my long lost brother.
Two good-looking bearded guys there. Yeah. Okay, so where was I? The third floor has games. Tours of the control tower are normally $12 a person on certain days. However, the hostess thought we could arrange a special showing for our meetup. At any rate, I would be thrilled to arrange a meetup when Captain Jeff motors through Colorado. Let's talk once a time frame comes into view. APG addict Vernon Tryon, again, retired CFI, former air traffic controller, and other things. Thank you, Vernon. That's a great idea. That is a good-looking. Yeah, that might be worth flying from Toronto to Denver just to kind of meet all the wonderful APG community members. And I'll definitely,
Yeah.
When I'm making my way through Colorado, I will definitely have to do that, Vernon. Great idea. Great
Yep.
idea.
It looks fun. And I'm not quite sure what the elephant's for, but there is a big elephant there.
The elephant.
Yeah. Well, the picture of the whole tower with the mini golf.
Yeah.
There's an elephant there. So there you go.
Oh, yeah. Is that it? No.
What's the elephant?
Are you?
Well, what is
that
it?
an
The big grey thing in the back.
No, it's something that's some kind of piece of machinery that's covered by a gray tarp. But I can see
Yeah,
how you're
that's-
getting the elephant out of that. No, really.
Okay. Shall I
Yeah, the
change my
elephant
glasses?
Yeah, and maybe
Oh,
cut
well.
down on the alcohol.
Might help. I'm starting to
Because
see.
Captain Nick sees elephants all over the place at times.
Well, hang on a minute. If it was alcohol, they'd all be pink, wouldn't they?
Oh,
Pink
that's true.
elephants.
Yeah. Okay, you're off the hook this time.
Perhaps I need to drink a bit more to change the colour.
All right, we're going to wrap this baby up. So thanks so much for hanging out with us for this two-parter.
Absolutely.
What's wrong? Are you okay, Liz?
Oh, Liz has just disappeared.
She just T-boned herself or torpedoed herself. She's gone. So she's going to be coming back here shortly. But while we wait for that, we're going to ask Captain. Oh wait, I know what I can do. I think I have a way to present what she's looking for right here. Boom. There. Ha! You can rest, Liz. Oh, she did the old swipey, the magic mouse swipey
the
thing.
magic mouse trick, yes.
Anyway, first we send you over to airlinepilotguy.com, which is our website. Strong, safe, secure, and cozy. And lots of stuff to check out there. And then we're also on social media, and Captain Nick is going to tell us all about that.
Yeah, have we got 10 seconds? Because the facebook.com/airline pilot guy is where you find us on that social media site. X at APG crew and Instagram.com/APG crew for that. And of course, if you want to watch this video, which we talk about a lot about the images that we're putting there, then you need to go to YouTube. So youtube.com/airline pilot guy, and you'll watch the smelly sausage being made.
And you'll be sorry you did.
Yes.
Yeah,
Exactly.
It's really not
That's
pretty.
just going back to the show notes from last week. I'm sorry.
Oh, speaking of the shower, hang on, and I haven't fixed the squeaky faucet yet. So
Well, it's time you did. Oh my God, you're going to flood the place.
Can you tell us about Slack? But I'm dripping wet. Okay. Well, come on over here. It's just a couple
Close
of steps
the
away.
curtains, Jeff.
Yeah.
Those poor campers.
Yeah. Uh-oh. Liz has said she's done something bad.
Well,
Naughty,
you can
naughty
clean
girl.
it up after the show, Liz.
What? Okay. Not sure exactly what we're doing. Oh. Gotcha. Okay, you can here, I'll take this one out and you can put yours up. Okay. So come on over
Sounds
here and
dreadful.
tell us all about Slack. Hello.
APG listeners, please join us on our Slack team. Slack is a communication, coordination, and sharing platform that works on your mobile, laptop, or browser.
Lost.
On Slack, we share news and ideas. We suggest episode and plain tales topics. We plan events and meetups. To get into the Slack team, please email me at slack@airlinepilotguy.com. That's SLACK Sierra Lima Alpha Charlie Kilo at airlinepilotguy.com, or send me a tweet with your preferred email address to @Hillel, and I'll send you an invitation. That's Hillel, spelled Hotel India 11 Echo 1, and see you in Slack.
Thanks a lot, Hillel.
Whose hair is in my toothbrush, Jeff?
Mine.
What have you been
His
using it
toothbrush.
for?
His toothbrush
Combing
makes a really
your
nice
moustache
brush, and my
again.
mustache. Yes,
Yes,
that's
I
my
can
mustache hair
imagine.
in his toothbrush. And by the way, we just kind of messed things up on purpose. We could do this perfectly professionally.
No,
but
it couldn't.
But just to kind of make all of you inferior people feel
To make us human, to bring
make
us down to
human. So
yes,
yeah, we
a common
just
man.
purposely screw everything up. So
Well, it's just
the
so
way-
you don't know we're an artificial intelligence.
That's true.
That's true.
Yes. No AI here for sure. All right, and also big thanks to Liz.
Hey,
for all the
well
hard
done,
work
Liz.
that
was
she
a
does.
fun
In the
show
middle
today.
of Wimbledon as well.
I know.
Yeah, I know, which is
You guys owe me big time.
quite something. That's why she's screwing everything up. She's
Yeah,
distracted by Wimbledon.
So upset.
And no, I didn't. Did I say that she was screwing anything up? I take that back. She's done everything
think so,
flawlessly
too.
on today's show, and
So
as
before
we
we-
have.
Before
Yeah.
we sign off, you're planning to a show from Oshkosh, yes?
Yeah, I'm planning on doing some kind of recording up at Oshkosh. Yes.
And maybe one before that, or what's your
Yeah,
thought?
maybe one sometime next week.
Okay, that's
I
good.
don't
Just so people know sort of what to expect.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to get back into the weekly
Swing of
show
things.
kind of routine, and because there's always so much more feedback to cover, which is awesome, and always something happening in aviation news
Always.
that we can.
Yep.
Talk about.
Always. Okay.
Yep.
Oh, that I want to talk about that tail scrape.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah,
Oh yeah,
definitely.
oh yeah.
That was something
9
else.
seconds worth.
That was
Do
a
we have any
lot
idea?
of scrape. That was a lot of scraping going on.
Oh
A lot
yeah,
of scraping.
yeah.
Yeah,
I tell
that
you.
was like.
Yeah.
But that's our
Essentially.
teaser for the next show, so they
Yeah,
have to
so
tune
stay
in.
tuned.
Oh,
Don't
show
listen to any
titles.
other aviation
I've got
podcast
titles.
because
Just
it'll
let
ruin
us
it for
sign
you.
off first.
Good.
What's that?
Okay, blue skies, and then we'll sign off, and then we'll give some show titles.
So
show titles.
with that, hopefully we'll see you on the next show as well. And wishing you all clear skies, unlimited visibility, and tailwinds. Take care and God bless.
Bye, everybody.
See you next time.
All right.
Okay, turn off your recorder.
Let's go over here.
I
on our
actually do have
recorder.
some suggestions here this time.
Wow.
Oh, good.
I know. Not that you'll like them, but
Wow.
Well, we'll see.
okay. The Flying Malteser.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
I like that. Yeah.
Flying Malteser. Okay. Unqualified flight instructors. You know how you have QFIs? This is UFIs. Unqualified flight instructors.
UFIs or UQFI?
Well,
I don't know. I know it's
I don't know.
the same
Whatever.
word, but
whatever
Yeah.
that works. Jeff's cold showers.
you said cold, not gold, right?
Cold.
Good.
Oh, Jeff, yes.
Just be sure. Just want to make
And
sure.
then last but not least, drinks in the tower. Drinks in the tower.
Drinks in the tower.
Or golf.
We
in-
had one of those quite recently when
Did
we
we?
were having drinks in the tower. Yes.
How about mini golf?
red
in the tower?
wine. It was red wine.
Oh yes, it was
France.
New Year's Eve. New Year's Eve in
yeah.
the tower.
Yeah,
Yeah, it was a French airport. Yeah.
Yes,
it was
Bordeaux or something.
Marseille. No, not Bordeaux.
Bordeaux.
That was it. Well done.
Okay,
Yes,
what
we
about
had-
then? What about golf in the tower?
Oh, yes, that's a good idea. Yes. It better.
I'm fast on my feet today. What can I say?
Are you?
I know. Anyway, that's all I got.
I'm
but
impressed. Now that's more than enough. One of
Okay.
those will work fine.
And you could just put Jeff in his cold shower in any of those.
Yeah.
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 Neil says it was better than the job I'm supposed to be doing.
One of those honeydew jobs.
What are you supposed to be doing, Neil?
Yeah.
I'd like
Yeah.
to know.
Yes.
I could
but-
say
well,
something
we're going
so
to wait
rude.
now.
I won't go there.
Oh, I
Anyway.
need to turn my air conditioner back on because it's hot.
Oh
in
yeah,
here.
do that. Anyway, thanks for taking some time out of your weekend, everybody.
Yes, we do appreciate you guys always being there for us. We
Absolutely.
Yeah, I don't know how you all
nice.
do it. You must have nothing in your lives.
It's pretty
Like
sad,
us. Like us.
like we have nothing in our lives either.
Exactly.
That's very
Yeah,
true,
so-
actually. How
you
sad
next-
is that?
See you next time, everybody.
I prefer to look
Bye,
at
folks.
it as a good thing, positive.
Yes,
Bye.
it's very positive.
Bye.
Bye.
Here we go.